Good morning. Globally, markets and governments are recalibrating around two linked forces: escalating geopolitical risk in the Middle East and a fast-moving technological and industrial shift led by high-tech manufacturing. On global conflict, the Strait of Hormuz is the immediate pressure point. The Financial Times reports tanker traffic has stopped or turned around amid a U.S. blockade, with the Pentagon saying no ships made it through in the first 24 hours. China has condemned the blockade as irresponsible and dangerous, noting it undermines an already fragile ceasefire, and as the biggest buyer of Iranian oil, it has a direct stake in any disruption. U.S. President Donald Trump says new U.S.-Iran talks could happen within days, with further discussions in Europe. In the region, SBS reports Iran remains defiant on a Hormuz blockade while Israel and Lebanon prepare for peace talks. Separately, the BBC reports Hamas has rejected a Gaza disarmament plan, with a Palestinian official saying the group will not move forward until Israel fully complies with its commitments. In Sudan, Al Jazeera reports drone strikes are intensifying the conflict as the war enters its fourth year, with the UN citing hundreds killed over the past 3 months. On the global economy, the key risk is energy-driven inflation colliding with slowing growth. With shipping and oil flows under threat, the inflation impulse could return quickly, even as recession risks rise. In parallel, the Financial Times flags a China Shock 2.0, a surge of subsidized, highly competitive Chinese high-tech exports pushing into advanced industries worldwide, accelerating a technological revolution, while intensifying trade and industrial policy tensions. On artificial intelligence and information integrity, the Conversation reports trust in news has risen in New Zealand after years of decline, with researchers pointing to the public seeking reliability and accountability amid AI-generated slop and misinformation. It's a reminder that AI's impact is not only productivity and automation, but also the credibility of public information systems. Turning to Australia, the economic lens is firmly on global spillovers. The Sydney Morning Herald reports the IMF has warned Treasurer Jim Chalmers not to fuel war inflation as recession risks grow, ahead of his U.S. meetings. For households, SBS reports Qantas is hiking fares and cutting domestic services as fuel uncertainty bites, while demand for Europe routes grows as travelers avoid Middle East flight paths. In Australian government policy and politics, The Guardian reports ongoing debate inside Australia about how directly the Prime Minister should respond to Trump's rhetoric and Middle East policy settings, with the government emphasizing the U.S. alliance, while trying to manage domestic expectations about independence of language and stance. On public spending, the Conversation says the government's push to curb NDIS costs, projected at about $50 billion this year, will hinge on practical reforms that restrain growth while maintaining participant outcomes. On the Australian share market, the main material driver today remains energy and transport exposure. Any sustained disruption around Hormuz would typically lift oil prices and volatility, with flow-on effects for airlines, logistics, and inflation-sensitive sectors, while also shaping expectations for interest rates. Finally, at the local level, consumer safety and everyday tech, ABC reports dangerous fake weight loss drugs are circulating on the UK black market, a cautionary signal for regulators and consumers about counterfeit medicines. And ABC notes that leaving laptops in sleep mode during long commutes can still create heat and battery strain over time, despite modern power management. That's the briefing.